Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up.
The line's wrapped around the stadium.
Different strengths. Mm-hmm. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to. He look crazy, Bill.
Good feet on the old man.
This is some back.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome into a Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show live right here on YouTube. Appreciate you starting your weekend here with us. Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button if you don't mind. Remember, daily, we're brought to you by RMB Builders. Red Bourgeois and the crew over at RMB can get you into a brand new home today. They can customize a home for you. They can help you with any type of addition you may be looking for. Get in touch with Rhett and the crew at rmb-builders.com. rmb-builders.com and on Instagram at RMB Builders. Our phone line is brought to you by Southern Regional Medical Center. Shout out to our crew, Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan over at Southern Regional Medical Center. Always appreciate their support. You can get in touch with them. Real doctors, real solutions over at Southern Regional Medical Center. And with Jason Ramazan over there, remember Mr. Funds Travel. We've been telling you and getting you reminded for the trip to Orlando between LSU and Florida State opening weekend. It was cool to talk to Greg Brooks yesterday. You can see that Florida State definitely has LSU's attention a couple of weeks out here of kicking it off and starting the college football season. It's a huge weekend for recruiting. We're going to tell you and get some recruiting information. Shea Dixon going to be in studio with us at 7:30 this morning. If you have recruiting questions, jump inside of the chat and we'll get them asked to Shea, and he'll answer them here coming up at 7:30 this morning. We're also going to talk to Nathan Velasquez. Looking forward to talking to Nate, as it's been a little minute.
You seen Barbie yet?
Since he's going to have, I think he's got a lot of reviews for us. He is the one that told me and really kind of pushed me to go see Oppenheimer last weekend. I went to a music concert and to a movie by myself last weekend.
Oh. Do you eat at restaurants by yourself?
I would.
Yeah.
Haven't, but I mean, after last weekend's experiments of movie and concert that's an island.
I guess
The walk up to the concert alone was the most just kind of like,
Wow, I'm by myself.
wow, I'm here, man.
I'm just
doing
going to
it.
enjoy this concert a lot.
Yeah.
I'm really going to
Doing
be invested in this.
doing it.
Yeah. I guess it would be kind of peaceful. You know, you just get to be in your own little, your own vibe. You don't
Right.
have to worry about like, oh, I got to go get
And
two
it
beers.
is very
Yeah.
refreshing.
Who was the concert?
Alicia Keys.
Oh,
Yeah.
Alicia Keys alone?
So you weren't alone. You were with Alicia.
Right.
It was a concert for
Which I
one.
felt like I was with Alicia.
It was me and her in the room.
She's singing
I'm
to
the
me.
plus one.
Yeah.
I'm with
But
her.
I'm going backstage.
It was great. We were going to talk to Nathan at 8:15 this morning. Nate's going to give us some feedback on a lot. He's looking forward to getting here. I'm looking forward to catching up with him and hearing his review. But Nathan I asked him. I said, Nathan, what do you think about Oppenheimer? He said he kind of raved for about 2 minutes of text, just talking kind of like over my head movie stuff, editing, set design, costumes.
Oh, he's in it.
Yeah, he's all in it. But then I said, Nathan, should I go see the movie or not? He said, if for nothing else, for the part of them constructing and blowing up the bomb alone, you should see the movie. And 3 hours is coach. I am an ADHD.
I was about to say that's a
definition.
long time for me, Coach.
I am a picture in the dictionary next to it. I cannot sit still. I'm ready to go after 20 minutes.
Fidgeting.
Definitely fidgeting, going through the phone.
You put your phone in the theater?
No, I did not.
Oh, yeah.
I'm usually that.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Usually that person.
Trying to
You know
sneak
what I
out of
mean?
here. I
Kinda
gotta go
walking in
burn
and
one.
out, right? Yeah.
Can I pause this?
I mean,
That'd be awesome.
And I was in it. I really was. I mean, I stayed. I mean, it kind of, for a couple of minutes, but I mean, I never lost the plot. I never lost. And it's got an incredible cast.
Oh, I mean,
the
all-stars.
The cast
18.
alone.
Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr.
And they're on.
Yes.
Like, they are on. Is it Emily Blunt? And then, Florence Pugh is
I
in
know
it.
she's in it.
And then
Murphy.
I keep always
Cillian Murphy?
Cillian Murphy is fantastic.
Yeah, he's a great actor. He
He's
was
fantastic.
he was in Batman, then he got his then he had his star turn in Peaky Blinders.
Did you know he tried to be like, he wanted
He'd
to
be
be
Batman.
Batman?
He wanted to be Batman, but then I think he recognized. He was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm not built for Batman.
Yeah.
I'll just be the villain.
Yeah, I'll just be what is he, Scarecrow?
So if you have a question for Nathan, jump inside of the chat. Good news for LSU baseball as the Tigers pick up another ace from a staff as they go and get Bama's ace, which is just, this story is incredible. I cannot wait. Really, I can't wait to
Ask him a question.
Yes, really. I mean,
So,
take me back.
I mean, obviously there's a reason I'm in the portal.
Luke, take me back. And we're talking about Alabama ace Luke Holman, who is going to transfer to LSU after his time at Alabama. And Holman is the pitcher who was scratched 20 minutes before Alabama's manager made a bet on Paul Skeens, and he put some guy out there that hadn't thrown since March.
He was not first start of the year.
what if you just cold cut told him, like, I just bet on LSU. I don't want you to pitch today.
Yeah. Hey, tell me your back hurts.
Holman, how'd you like your bed last night?
Yeah, but
terrible, right? You got a crick in your neck? I hate to hear it. You just got scratched. I just put $200K on the Tigers.
Put rocks in your bed. Coach, this bed was shit. What happened? Oh, good. Worked.
Perfect.
Just the way I wanted
What if
to.
he really did go to that lit to, like, really get him out the game?
Yeah.
Like, just put rocks in his bed.
The part about it was it was 20 minutes before. It was 20
Right.
minutes before the game.
Hey, look.
I mean, it would have been as if we constructed the plan.
Right.
So then, 20 minutes before the game, we'll
Don't
make the
start.
announcement that we're scratching him. Nobody will realize it.
Hold on, let me text him.
Because he
never
slept
know.
in a bad bed last night in the hotel.
Sounds good. It's like Major League when they have the frozen baseball. It's like, I can't believe I didn't get away with it.
They'll never know.
I mean, he's over there. He's talking to the pitcher like, "All right, you're scratched. Hold on,
He's
let me get
texting
the
his
text,
boy on
let
the
me get
side.
text out.
I just told Luke.
Who's
we're
gonna
all
start?
we're all
Doesn't
good.
matter.
Good to go.
Yeah, you can go home.
Send him the
Actually,
thumbs up sign.
But LSU lands right-handed pitcher Luke Holman. So good news for the national champs as the strong get stronger. Jay Johnson doing work. It was good to see Jay up in the Cape Cod League taking some pictures with his current guys, and now he's out recruiting. The man is he never sleeps. He's all about football. All about baseball, and the Tigers are the ones that are winning on this thing because he is just cleaning up in the portal.
rumors are there's one more fish out there that Jay Johnson is throwing a line out for. So keep your eyes open. May not be over in the portal just yet.
We're talking
Montgomery.
West Coast.
Mm-hmm. If that's the thing that happens,
Good luck.
the baseball world will be aflame.
So what happened to the Air Force ace?
I don't know. I don't know if he's still in the portal or if he got back to Air Force. I don't know. I haven't looked at the baseball portal. I thought it was done. I knew that Luke was still on the table for LSU, and then that was the only one I thought was left out there. I haven't looked into who's still in the portal. Obviously, you get Mac Bingham from Arizona. You got another pitcher from who else did they get? We just interviewed him too, Jake Lower. So I thought they were going to get Luke from Alabama, and I thought it would be over. But now it seems to be that there's some more traction in the old baseball portal. Jay Johnson does not sleep, doing work in the Cape and recruiting at the same time. He was getting players during the College World Series in the portal.
I mean, I realized it during the College World Series when he was standing on the top step being interviewed in the game, and he was recruiting. Mm-hmm. I mean, like really, he was actually doing it in the regional.
Right.
When he was like, if you're a transfer guy, just let me look at this.
How would you know what?
How would you know? You're like, damn, man, this guy is relentless.
He loves it.
He loves it. Scary, 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 scary moment yesterday for the football world, most notably in Cincinnati and in Louisiana, as the Golden Boy, Joey B. On the first day of training camp, after leading an 11-play scoring drive the series before, is going through a rep where he is scrambling out of the pocket and has one of those moments, if you're a fan watching your team play, when the whole thing just collapses in front of your face. As Burrow just crumbles down to the ground after he can't help himself. Like, he can't keep himself up. And my first thought was that it was an Achilles.
Mm-hmm. Well, you would know.
That was the first thing, because he bounced on it. And it was as if he stepped on like a hot surface.
Right.
And that's what that
feels like.
That's what it was, man. And he hits the ground. You got it, Stewie?
He didn't.
And then after the news started to come out,
he stepped on a tack,
that it looked as if he was going to be okay. I guess when you go back and watch it, you can see.
They have a
and he does have a calf sleeve.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
He does have a calf sleeve on.
I got the close-up video, but the first glance,
is terrible.
It looked
terrifying.
bad.
The first glance is the worst case scenario.
Right, but then I watched it again. And
no doubt.
I've seen some Achilles pops, and
no doubt.
you could see it pop.
Yeah,
you
can see
the
Kobe's
ripple.
pop.
Right, you didn't see his pop and come apart. It was just kind of like, oh shit, this hurts.
I thought he pulled his calf, which
that's
a lot of
weird.
people I remember Dr. Bankston telling me, he was like, sit up on the thing, because I was like, Doc, I think I pulled my Achilles, and he's like, well, you could have pulled your calf. He was like, that happens a lot, and a lot of time people. But when I sat up, he looked at it and he was like, no, you pulled your Achilles. I mean, he was like,
You popped your Achilles.
You can tell just by the back of your foot is what they look. They look right here.
Mm-hmm. Well, because it rolls up if you pop your Achilles. Because you've seen Kobe and you've seen Kevin Durant, both probably the two most recent that you could know what happened whenever you saw it. Yeah. Because they always try to rub it down. Yeah. They're trying to pull it back down, and then your foot can't bend.
Right.
And it's just this
it's
weird.
Like it's like the walk You know, like, it's like the,
You got
the
a dead
flex. It's like the flex, you know, because when I stood up and I tried to walk, I
Went
fell
back
down.
down.
I mean, like,
That's unbelievable.
when
That's so
I-
unfortunate.
That's when I knew, like, I was like, oh,
I'm
I'm
hurt.
screwed, man. Oof.
See, this step right here is the one. And it's
Oh.
like, God, I can't run. I can't do this.
Do you imagine being Zach Taylor right now?
Oh, my God.
Like, oh,
He,
no.
he fell to the ground. He's like,
All right,
oh.
how about Joe's agent?
Yeah. We didn't sign that deal yet.
I mean, you're at this point probably 2 or 3 days away from signing a
massive
lifetime, like just a life-changing contract.
He looks so good, too.
I know.
Yeah, he's about to get out of there and get to
I know.
Got to do something
doing
good.
his Joe thing.
I mean,
And the other thing is, what if you, obviously you got the reports that it's a calf strain, but if you have seen Joe Burrow play, he doesn't go down for a whole lot or stay down very often. So that would be another reason I think it would be something serious. If you're at Bengals practice, if you're a trainer, like, oh God, he doesn't.
Yeah,
he usually pops back up after. I mean, you saw it happen against UCF, Auburn, like Vandy.
I wouldn't say he popped right back up at the UCF.
It took him a second.
Yeah,
But he didn't get no cart.
that was his come to football moment.
No. Do I love it? I'm about to go nuclear.
Chest hurts.
Yeah.
he's
Ah.
never been the same person.
Nope.
I
Changed
I
his
mean,
life.
like, really and truly. Like, I mean, it is the start of the movie.
It's a villain. It's the origin
Yeah,
story.
that was his OG villain story.
What happened to that linebacker?
Oh God.
I think
Is he coaching linebackers at USF now?
I want to
UCF?
say that it was defensive lineman. I want to say he plays for the Cowboys.
Really?
Yeah, Cowboys drafted him.
Really?
I'm sure Joe knows that.
Yeah. I know
Thank
that for
you.
sure.
But so I guess you don't see Burrow here for
NFL
He'll
coaches.
sit out the whole preseason.
definitely not playing any preseason.
NFL coaches are pissed right now, because like that's what Joe Burrow's the third star to get hurt in training camp.
Yeah, who went down? Jalen Ramsey went down.
Jalen Ramsey meniscus. Garrett Wilson tweaked his ankle yesterday in camp, and Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
And
then they had another.
Kadarius Toney hurt
Yeah.
his knee.
Yeah, I think Kadarius.
Yeah.
He knows. He's always. My stomach hurts.
Kadarius just waiting on the. Let me know when the
Come on.
games start.
Game time only.
I'm trying to let you know when
Let
I'm
me
coming
rolling a
back.
couple up back here. If y'all don't mind. But look, in the meantime, my knee is killing me.
My knee hurts.
I'm gonna get my knee cleaned up real quick.
Yeah, right.
Tony, do whatever you
It's my
gotta do.
kneecap.
Yeah.
Just brutal. But yeah, it is concerning to see how many preseason games is it now? 4?
It's 4. Yeah. I'm not a big fan.
No, man.
Preseason football.
That was scary. That was scary for sure. It was good to hear. And then more NFL news. Sean Payton, like, I don't know what his
Pulls no punches.
I don't know what his. I don't know, like, what his intent here is, whether it was, like, to kind of, like, get his locker room behind him and let everybody know, like, look, last year was not anybody's fault. But I cannot remember an NFL coach going after another NFL coach that's, like, still in the league. Like Nathaniel Hackett's, like, the offensive coordinator for the Jets. And, I mean, Sean Payton told USA Today, and this is why I love Peyton. I miss Peyton, really. You know?
Me too.
He said, it might have been one of the worst coaching jobs in the history of the NFL. That's how bad it was. There's 20 dirty hands for what was allowed, tolerated in this freaking training room, the meeting rooms. He says, the offense, I don't know, Hackett. A lot of people have dirt on their hands. It wasn't just Russell. He didn't just flip. He still has it. This BS that he hit the wall, shoot, they couldn't get a play in. Mm-hmm. They were 29th in the league in pre-snap penalties on both sides of the ball. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen often where an NFL team or organization gets embarrassed, Peyton told USA Today. And that happened here. Part of it was their own fault, relative to spending so much effing time trying to win the offseason, the PR, the pomp and circumstance, marching people around and all that stuff. That won't happen this year. Everything I heard about last year, we're doing the opposite, Peyton said to USA Today. I mean, like, Coach, you know we're rolling right now. Like, this thing is recording. I mean, like, I love it, you know what I mean? Like, but I can't imagine that like people internally were like, I don't know if that's a good idea, man.
It takes another shot at the Jets. Or I guess Nathaniel Hackett, I don't know if he has a bone to pick with him for some reason. A lot of the statement, it feels like he's trying to defend Russell Wilson.
I think so too.
He's going to bat for his new guy.
The first thing I thought when I heard it, I was like, well, he's just kind of like trying to rally the guys.
Yeah.
Like he's like trying to say like
new teachers here.
Forget last season.
Yeah.
Like that guy's a bum.
Yeah. Summer school's over.
Right. Like we're about to start
this.
winning.
Yeah, we're about to be good.
Yeah, because they have a good roster.
Yeah, that was the biggest surprise of last year. It was like, what
Yeah.
happened to Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos, where you thought that they were going in could be certainly a postseason team and maybe a dark horse for a Super Bowl run with the pieces that they had put together. Then you watch them play. They couldn't get a play in, and then you had reports of Russell Wilson calling out old plays from Seattle in the huddle where they're like, "What play is that?" He's like, "We don't have that." He's like, "I don't know what's going on," and so. Well, if that shit won't happen with Sean Payton.
Payton goes more in on Hackett saying, we're not doing any of that. The Jets did that this year. You watch, Hard Knocks, all of it. I can see it coming. Remember when Dan Snyder put that dream team together? I was at the Giants that year. I was a young coach. I thought, how are we going to compete with them? Dion's there now. The team won 8 games or whatever. So listen, just put the work in. That wasn't his fault, Peyton talking about Russell Wilson. That wasn't his fault. That was the parents who allowed it. That's not an incrimination on him, but an incrimination on the head coach, the GM, the president, and everybody else who watched it happen. I'm going to be pissed off if this team is not a playoff team, Peyton told USA Today. I mean, like, dude, he's been out of it for 2 years for sure, right? Like,
yes.
I mean, like, get this guy back on a practice. Get this guy on a headset. I mean,
he is itching to be he was like,
Nathaniel Hackett's got to be reading this under his desk.
Oh God.
I mean, like, he has like slaughtered Nathaniel Hackett.
He's probably like thrilled that he got a job with the Jets before this came out. Like, as if Nathaniel Hackett was on like a free agent or like in the open market as a coach, and then this comes out, you wouldn't get a job again. Like, if you have an indictment by Sean Payton, who is probably one of the more brilliant offensive minds to come through the NFL.
Top 3 coach in the league.
Right. And then you have him say this about you, and he doesn't, it's not like he's trying to bury him, but he has to because he was the head coach. And if you're Hackett, you don't have a job, you'd be like, well, I guess that's pretty much it for me in coaching after Sean Payton put this rubber stamp on me. Like, the only reason he has a job probably is because Aaron Rodgers said, go get that's his favorite coach.
Right.
And the Jets they're like, okay, we got to do whatever we can to get Rodgers. We're going to sign Lazar, Randall Cobb, we'll get Hackett.
Jesus.
Like, they brought the whole band together for Rodgers. So if he didn't have Rodgers kowtowing for him, I don't think Hackett would have a job after this. Well, he seems like a great guy, too. He's been interviewed. He's pretty funny. But I don't think that plays. And you can, if you're Hackett, you can just say, roll the ball out for Rodgers. You can do whatever you want. Because that's what Rodgers, he wants autonomy in the offense. He always has. That's why I hated Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, I can call whatever I want out here.
Draw it up in the dirt.
I don't care what you say, Nate.
How's your kid?
Nate, back up.
I got it.
Yeah.
We're huddling. No huddle. On 2. It's his favorite thing to do.
So it was great to see Sean Payton back in Payton form.
Oh.
Like, not wasting any time. And then what a power pick that came out yesterday from Capitol Hill. As we heard Greg Sankey, everybody heard Greg Sankey last week speaking about the future of college sports, and you could see it weighing on him. You could hear it in his voice. Sankey is tasked with a ton of responsibility right now, and you can see that this NIL issue is pretty major, right? Because of his comments last weekend urging the federal government to become involved and oversee this part of college sports. Well, yesterday he loaded up the jet and took 3 of his top lieutenants with him, and this is something that we had said last week while LSU was at SEC Media Day. It's great to see LSU back at the adults table, right? Like, for the brand that LSU has and the cachet that the name and the 3 letters carry when you walk into the room, especially when you're talking about football and athletics. It's good to see LSU be represented in some of these high-end conversations that are going to steer what the next 10, 15, 20 years look like in collegiate athletics. when Greg Sankey made his mind up that he was going to Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. to plead his case on why the federal government should oversee and regulate NIL, he took Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, and Brian Kelly. He's going to get business done. He wants to walk into the room, and he wants every senator and congressman to sit up straight. He wants people to know that I'm coming to do business. Not only am I bringing myself and my message of what the NIL is doing to college athletics and what we believe and how we believe it needs to be regulated, I got my 3 top lieutenants with me here. So if you got any questions or if you want their autograph or you want to take a picture with them, go ahead and feel free. Because we're here to get a deal done. And to see LSU back in that circle, right, is refreshing. And that is one of the pieces that Scott Woodward was looking to do when he made the hire. There's plenty of people that have talked to Woodward off the record that one of the first things that Woodward recognized that he had to get back for LSU football was professionalism. Was a seat at that table that LSU was at yesterday. You got that picture, Stewie? Mm-hmm. Bring it up.
I thought Coach O was very professional.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, look at the power suits in that picture. Sure, it's a lot of old white men, but
that's the whitest photo of all time. But we're talking football here.
They're trying to get college. Those are 3 of the most powerful people in college football. 4, counting Greg Sankey. James Carville on the far left, and I'm sure some politician that's about to die like the rest of them are up in Washington, D.C.
I don't know who that
I got
is.
no idea. I'm sure he's on his deathbed. I mean, seriously, and this is no pun, but I mean, can we whitewash Washington, D.C.? Like, just scrub them. They're all dead. I mean, I saw 3 people die on a microphone this week.
Oh, you ready to go? You ready to go back to your office?
Mitch McConnell, some lady in a meeting, was talking. She just froze up.
You gotta watch the guy behind him.
Yeah, the guy behind him sees a moment. He sees his opportunity. He's like, finally, Mitch is dead. Hey, look, Mitch, get out of the way. Let me get the mic. Vote for me, 2024. I mean, like, everybody up there. I mean, it's just it's an old folks home.
Yeah,
It's a nursing home.
I mean, like it's the wing of the hospital that looks like the morgue.
Everybody in here wears a
I mean,
diaper.
everybody's dead.
the hospice care.
They can't complete sentences. They're drooling.
He was like,
Hey, he's straight up having a seizure. Like, I don't mean to laugh. I mean, I don't mean to, but that's what happens to 90-year-old people.
He's old.
I mean, like, get him in a bed.
He's a really old guy.
Get him out of the policy meetings, for God's sakes. I mean, you wonder why America's in so much trouble. It's being run by a bunch of 100-year-olds.
There is a list out there with
I mean, the
all
president
their
can't
ages.
complete a sentence. Congressmen can't complete a sentence.
Might as well just-
Senators are dying on the microphone in the middle of trying to complete a sentence. I mean, look, I'm not picky about politics, but can they be at least alive?
it's literally about
I mean,
Rushmore.
That's like
can they have a
This is
pulse?
the baseline.
Yeah, it's literally about Rushmore. That's what they're doing. The exact same thing. Oh God, the turtle. That's what he looks like.
I mean, look, this guy, he just dies.
He's just
He just
short
dies.
circuited.
He's dead.
The guy in the blue tie.
He's dead.
is
Like,
the
Mitch,
one I was
it's
watching.
over, bro.
Look at
Look,
him.
he knows.
Look, he knows, like, here's our chance. Hey, I've been telling you bastards he's going to die. He's doing it in public.
Got the over under and how long this is gonna take.
Should I make my run? Look at everybody just like looking around like, look, this guy's in charge of policy.
Look, the
thought
guy
it
in the
was
blue
pop-
tie is
Yeah,
like,
my turn.
hey.
I guess I'm going to get in here.
Look, he
Mitch.
already has the speech ready. He has it in his hand.
I
He
mean,
didn't say
like,
anything yet.
hey, Mitch, you're dead.
Not
Okay.
okay. Shuffle me out.
All right.
Off to the shuffleboard crew.
Get my backup in here. How old is he? 105?
No, we got a young gun. Boom.
He's 82. Just hired a young gun.
I mean,
funny.
like, how embarrassing has that been this week to, like, watch the – I mean, like, the president, he said they saved cancer. Like, I don't mean to laugh at that, but I mean, like, what?
He also said somebody was winning the war in Iraq.
I mean, like, McConnell died. So I saw some old lady in some meeting. She was just talking. She just stopped. Like, everybody's like,
is she all right?
what's next? I mean,
it can happen, especially like in this profession where you like are
absolutely.
going to make a point.
And I don't mean to look, man.
But they have a prepared speech. We're pretty much, we're dishing. We have points that we want to make, but at some point, even if you have something that you have prepared and you want to say, there's times whenever you start and you're like, I totally forgot what I was going to say, and it happens. Like I remember when T-Bob was talking about it, like literally it was on these like the lights get brighter, it gets hot, and you get to a point though where you feel comfortable going, oh dude, I forgot what I was going to say. Like take it over, like kick it back to somebody else. If you're Mitch McConnell, it feels like that he can't do that.
That
it's
ship
the
has
State of the
sailed.
Union address for him, and then he just I don't think that was freezing. I think that was that was a scenario.
His brain actually shut
Just
off.
short circuited.
Like,
Get me out of here! Help me,
Mitch.
There he is. Shea Dixon is here. It's a huge day in recruiting. Bayou Splash Party tonight on campus. Everybody's going to be there. Kai Bates just committed to LSU. Tigers got 20 commits. We will ask Shea who is next coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, daily, we were brought to you by Click Here Digital Media, our friends over at Click Here Digital Media online at clickheredigital.com. They can help you with all of your digital marketing today, whether you are looking for social media marketing, you're looking for a digital marketing strategy that fits your business. Get in touch with Click Here Digital. Online's the best way to do it, clickheredigital.com. You can click on the Let's Talk tab and you can get in touch with somebody today. Look, they dominate the automotive space, but it's much more than that. They've got great success stories that they can tell you about. They are a partner with Google. They're one of the top 3% agencies in the country. Get in touch with them. ClickHereDigital.com. ClickHereDigital.com is where you can find them online. Shea Dixon talking recruiting next from On3. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier, Kyron Lacey, Greg Brooks.
Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team, make a difference. Bet. Let's get it done.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us.
Get it done.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college, for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Granning at Go-Mart and On The Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen.
Gotta give credit to the idea.
A moment of silence for a calf strain in the Midwest this morning for Joey Franchise, Joey Burrow. Please, everyone, recognize a moment of silence for number 9. Hat off, Stewie.
Kill the music. Pay our respects.
Joey's going to be all right. Super Bowl or bust for the Bengals. Lights, please, over there.
Yes.
Lloyd. Shea Dixon is here. It's the Bayou Splash. It is great to see Shea D here on another week for the Culotta Show. Shea, good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Lights back on?
Yes. Lights on.
Back to work.
Lights on. Huge week for the Tigers. 4-star cornerback who 6'2" frame on Kai Bates. Incredible athlete and player out of Florida. He'll be here tonight for the Bayou Splash. What type of player did LSU get?
Top 100 player on the On3 industry rankings right now, coming out of Edgewater, Florida. This was a guy who early on we always thought was leaning to LSU because LSU had done such a good job of getting in on him early. But then, like Bama, Ohio State, Tennessee became a real big threat. Florida State, A&M, Colorado, all those schools were in his final group, and he wanted a little suspense to it. He let us know a few days ahead of time. We got the articles and all that ready, but he kind of wanted to leave everyone guessing at Edgewater. That's one thing you forget about, too. Like, the kids aren't worried about, like, us and the fans guessing. Right. He's got all of his friends coming to the gym. He's trying to, like, have fun with it. Right. But a good story. You were just talking about it before. What are they getting as ball skills? Robert Steeples, LSU's corners coach, found him last offseason when they had put the corner board together and said, hey, we need to expand it a little more. So he was digging through film of wide receivers.
Wow.
Found Bates. Said, this kid's got really good ball skills, but will he want to switch over to defense? And I think the fortunate part there is when he reached out to the Edgewater coaches, they were like, one step ahead of you. He's already about to be playing there next year. So when it came time, Steeples just immediately started hitting him up, and about 4 or 5 months later offered him, and now 5 months after that, get him committed.
You pay attention to recruiting more than anyone, but just
unfortunately,
in the way that I do, Steeples' name keeps popping up everywhere. He must be developing into a really solid recruiter. I mean, this had to be not a concern, but at least when you hired him,
he had no experience.
He had no experience in it, right? I mean,
right.
So he's kind of a natural to it.
I would think so. And two, I think when you say natural to it, think about yes, he played college ball, played in the NFL, but remember, it wasn't but a few years ago that he was coaching at DeSmet and took them from nothing into a national powerhouse. And Makai Wingo was on that team. Mac Markway, who they have on the roster now, was on that team. Am I missing do they have another DeSmet?
Was J.K. Johnson on that team?
J.K. Johnson
was
on that team. They were in on Christian Gray. I think he went to Notre Dame a year ago, but he was on that team. So, like, he's been around guys who are about to be playing high-level ball and certainly has been around it, both playing in college, playing in the NFL, and now coaching. I think after last year, you get your feet wet, and now this year it's like, okay, I've got a full year on the trail. I know what I'm looking for in guys, and I kind of know how I vibe with them, how they need to vibe with Kelly. And I think when you look from Toviano to Andre Evans to now a guy like Kai Bates, they're all similar. Like, very good football players, but also great kids. Going to do things the right way, not going to get you into any trouble. And I'm not trying to say they're building the choir boys over here, but it's a good thing. You want your locker room to be held together. So they feel very, very good about what they've done so far at corner.
So this Bayou Splash is fairly new to kind of the recruiting scene for LSU, but it's been very successful for them. This looks like tonight could be one of the biggest nights that Brian Kelly has had recruiting since he's been here at LSU. I mean, the list is incredible, right?
Yes, we've got the visitor list up on the Bengal Tiger. In fact, right now the Bengal Tiger is only $1 for a month. Little promo going into this big weekend. So if you're not a member yet, jump in. But we've already got the visitor list up this morning. Kids are already rolling into campus this morning, which is big. But I'd say looking at the list, and more names always pop up, it'll be one of the biggest recruiting weekends they have all year, no doubt. And remember last year, Kelly's first season, they started this Bayou Splash, but it poured and they had to go inside and
no jet skis.
No, it was a last second, they were written slip and slides and stuff for the indoor facilities.
Yeah, so doing the DJ, right?
Yeah, I think you cross your fingers and hope that you're all good today, and they'll be hanging out over at the rec and then hanging out at Ops, grilling. And I think one thing you stress about today is it's a lot less meetings and let's watch some film, and it's way more, we're just going to come in with your family, we're going to hang out, go hang out with the other commits, going out with the uncommitted dudes, and kind of get to know everybody on the staff a little bit better away from football. And every team in the country is having some sort of event this weekend like this because it's about to be back into a dead period. We're only in a 7-day window. It's called the quiet period, where you can even have kids on campus, and it goes dead for a whole month. It's really important to get kids on campus for this weekend, and for LSU to have this visitor list when Bama, Georgia, A&M, Texas, everybody's doing something. So everybody's trying to get kids to their campus, and LSU's rolling out 5 stars, rolling out the big names in the state, Dominic McKinley, Wardell Mack, uncommitted guys that hey, are they going to come? Are they going to come? They got them locked in. They're showing up today. So, yeah, this is a very big day, and I guess weekend. A lot of guys will stay overnight.
You mentioned the 2 top uncommitted guys in the state, and I want to get to Wardell Mack and Dominic McKinley, but there has been a ton of buzz around a couple of out-of-state prospects from Duncanville in Colin Simmons and Caden Durham. Both guys have had LSU high on their list. Durham is going to make his commitment here in the month of August. Well, it seems like, as you've pointed out, Simmons is probably going to take this thing to the finish line. But LSU sits in a really good spot, right?
Yeah, and we'll see. Simmons said recently that he'll announce the decision date soon. Maybe he does something before the year. I don't know. But to get them to everybody wanted a guy like Colin Simmons on their campus this weekend. So the work you have to do behind the scenes to make that happen, and to have his mom here, and to have his brother, and the whole family feel, is shows that this staff is realizing how to put it together in recruiting. And then Caden Durham, his teammate, in fact, he's got, I think they have 4 total Duncanville kids here. DeCorian Moore, a 5-star for next year. Javion Holiday, a 4-star corner for next year. They're already here. Durham got here last night and spent some time. He and Jelani Watkins, actually, Jelani Watkins is a receiver they've badly been wanting. He plays over at Klein Forest in Texas, but he's from reserve, so he's a Louisiana guy. And that would kind of be the 4th piece, the 4th addition at receiver that they've been going for. But both Durham and Watkins run track and have track offers. So They did a lot of that with Benny Brazil in June when they came and visited. I'd imagine that they're going to have a little kind of conversations about track today and through the weekend while they're here. But they were in town last night hanging out with actually Stewie's boy, Ricky Collins.
Hey, Rick.
You got to put that recruiting effort in. And I think when you like a lot like Nussmeier kind of is, I think Ricky Collins will be one of those guys that
loves it.
Hosts a lot of kids. You know, he was when you're the star quarterback in high school, you know how to get along with a star running back and receiver and take them out. So I think that's some fun.
When you talk about weekends like this and how big it can be for the relationship building part of it, right?
I think we did the math like last year maybe, and remember it's like an invite-only event, so there's fewer than 50 kids coming, and that I guess that is a lot. It may sound like a lot, but that includes not just this class, rising seniors, but juniors and sophomores, like Lamar Brown at U High, like he'll be there this weekend. So I think we looked last year. Let's say there was 10 uncommitted guys or something like that at the event. It was something like 7 or 8 of them ended up signing with LSU. So like the work you do this weekend for a lot of schools goes to kind of really pay big dividends come December or February, whenever your class ultimately is signed and the dust settles on it. And you can kind of look back and say, man, things really turned when you got him in that weekend for the Bayou Splash.
We talked to Dylan Barrett, head coach at Manny, and Tylen Singleton earlier this week. Good conversation with both guys, but Singleton had just committed to LSU after his trip last weekend. The film pops on Singleton, man. What type of player did LSU get?
Well, he talks about playing the star position, which is kind of a hybrid nickel, linebacker, safety. I think that one thing we'll see with Dylan Barrett and Manny this year is with Tackett Curtis not on the team, he was kind of like the featured piece of the defense a year ago, and he signed with Southern Cal. Now Tylen Singleton can be that. So he's going to be doing a little bit of everything. He's going to be playing wide receiver.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot there. I'm telling you, there's people coming out of the woodworks in Manny right now saying, watch, he'll be the best receiver in the state this year.
Oh, wow.
So very good athlete and a guy who's just kind of, he kept things quiet. Arkansas, TCU, A&M, Tennessee, all these schools were knocking on the door. And there was this rhetoric that, LSU won't be able to get anyone out of Manny. And sure enough, Singleton pops. And that was a big addition for them and gives a boost to the linebacker room. I mean, you want to lock down this state, keep getting guys like Tylen Singleton, he commits, and I think I got a text at 7:30 this morning that he was already on campus. Event doesn't even start till this afternoon. So,
wow.
Sign me up, Coach. I'm in.
Wardell Mack, where does LSU stand? Good to have him on campus
It
today,
is,
right? Yeah.
Because remember, Tylen Singleton, Wardell Mack, and Dominic McKinley, none of them visited LSU in June. So you felt like you had to get him here for this in July. Now, Tylen Singleton committed to him a week ago, so that kind of bumps that theory. But McKinley and Mack both will be here. Expectations are, at least what Mack said, is he's going to go to Florida tomorrow. We'll see if he ends up doing that at the Grill in the Ville down there in Gainesville. But we'll see. He may end up just staying in Louisiana. I don't know. But he wants to announce before his senior year, if not right up to it. And it's Texas, it's LSU, and it's Florida probably as the 3 schools. I think that if you've got Frank Wilson on the case, you've got the rest of the staff on it, that by the time you get this weekend done, then you've got official visits, and you've got in-home visits, and you've got him coming in for games, whatever it might be. That's plenty of enough time to chip away. I like where LSU stands. And on the other side of it, the number 1 player in the state, Dominic McKinley out of Acadiana, is just such a quiet kid and is so new to recruiting. He blew up after his junior year. It's kind of odd for a 5-star not to have picked up all those offers until the off season after his junior season, which was this past spring. But that was the case for McKinley. So he took like 4 official visits in June. He's going to take some more in the fall. I don't think he's in a rush to do anything, but this is a good chance for LSU to get him around what is now a 20-man commitment list. And a lot of Louisiana's top players committed and everything like that. So this will be a very important day, I think, for both those guys in terms of locking up Louisiana and the number 1 and 2 players here in the state.
We mentioned Durham and Simmons coming in from Texas. Blake Ivy's another guy an offensive lineman that they've been after for a while. Where are they with him, and will he be here?
He will be. So it's going to be a really nice O-line group. You know what? Shout out to Brad Davis, who's done some good work. Brian Kelly, who I think obviously can eval O-linemen and give the green light when it's needed. And they've got a great personnel department who found guys early on. That's what happened with Ethan Callaway, who they got committed and is now a top 100 player. And that's what happened with a guy like Ori Williams, who you look at the rankings, he's a 3-star because I think it's more of an upside play. And look, he could be a 4-star his senior year. I have no idea. I don't do any of the rankings. But consensus, he's a high 3-star. You talk to people around LSU, and they'll tell you this is one of our favorite offensive tackles on the board just because of that long-term kind of projection. And when you've got Brian Kelly as the head coach, who's got a track record of O-linemen, and Brad Davis, who has a track record of developing them as well, you get excited about those kind of guys. So Ori Williams is one they feel good about getting committed. He was going to visit Florida this weekend after LSU. He's already canceled that visit, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was a commitment they got out of this weekend, and that would, put them at 3 O-line commits. You've got Blake Ivy here on campus, as you mentioned, out of Texas. He's the number 3 interior offensive lineman in the country, but Texas is battling hard. A&M has always been considered the team to beat, but they offered Joseph Cryer, out of Manny yesterday, or 2 days ago, and he visited yesterday. He'll be up at Ole Miss, where he's committed to today. It seems like Brad Davis is like, okay, look, we're swinging for the fences with Ivy, but we don't get him. We've got other guys that are waiting in the wings. So I like what they've done with the O-line class, really 3 years in a row now, dating back to grabbing Will Campbell and Emory Jones that first year and then becoming immediate starters for you.
Yeah. And even the ancillary parts of that class, it looks like are developing, like Bo Bordelon.
Yeah.
And
that year they only sent 3 O-linemen, those two and Bo Bordelon. And then last year, boy, Zaylance Hurd and DJ Chester are kind of your stars, but they feel great about Paul Mabenga. They feel great about Tyree Adams. So they're on a very nice run of O-linemen right now, which you have to be if you want to win in this league.
You mentioned the 2026 target, Lamar Brown out of University High, who is a stud prospect of a offensive line, maybe defensive line prospect. What's some other guys that are underclassmen that are going to be here? I know Harlan Berry's going to be making the trip, but how about some other?
Yeah, Harlan Berry and James Simon, who are kind of 2 of the headliners in Louisiana just because they're highly ranked running backs nationally. Harlan Berry is the number 1 running back in the country for next year. Jabori Antoine out of Westgate, which is a school they want to get back into. Demarion Johnson, who's going to be a senior, they have a commitment from, but they're after Jabori Antoine for next year as a corner. Number of other kids, a few other kids from around the state.
Moses?
Keelan is with a couple of U-High kids and a couple of New Orleans kids. They all flew to Oregon for Oregon's weekend, which...
Why not?
I don't think it's 101 over there. Keelan's chilling this weekend.
That's right.
So,
they're in a great spot with him, though, right?
Yeah, they're in a great spot with him. He'll end up being one of the leaders of this class, in my opinion. But those guys are up at Oregon. As I said, everybody in the country is having a recruiting event, so this is their chance to go see that before the season starts. But a number of out-of-state kids that are high profile are here from the 2025 class. I looked at it last night because I was going through it. I was like, damn, Cortez Hankton, the staff they got some good wide receivers coming in for next year. And then I looked at the rankings. They have 5 wide receivers coming from outside the state. All of them are ranked in the top 300. 4 of them are the number 2, number 5, number 12, and 14 receivers in the country.
Wow.
So if you've got 4 of the top 15 receivers for next year in the country on your campus already, and you know Louisiana's always going to give you some receivers. They'll pop up. But you're already kind of getting ahead of the game with some of these juniors from outside the state. That sets up well. It's a very nice-looking wide receiver group they have.
What about this wide receiver class, Shea? We talk about how Louisiana's always got DBs, wide receivers. They did step out and grab JoJo Stone. Outside of that, the class here is built predominantly in-state. What is?
It is. And look, again, it's been a full 10 years now where the top 3 receivers on LSU's roster in terms of receiving yards when the season ends were Louisiana natives. The last time that happened was 11 years ago when Kadron Boone was the 3rd receiver in terms of yards at the end of the year. He's from Florida.
Was he behind Landry and Beckham?
Yeah. So you're looking at more than a decade where even when you were recruiting out-of-state receivers, every year your top 3 receivers were guys from Louisiana. So you know that those guys are in the state. You just got to eval them. And that's what they did in summer camp. They worked out Kylan Billiot, offered him out of Terrebonne, got him committed. Worked out Michael Turner out of John Curtis, who plays in that veer. You don't really get a good feel for a receiver in that John Curtis offense during the year. Get him to camp, work him out, offer him, commit him. Those guys, as now the rankings kind of settle in ahead of senior seasons, are the 2 highest ranked receivers in Louisiana. So you already had JoJo Stone, as you mentioned, and then they want one more. Jelani Watkins is on campus. That's the guy they've had their eye on. He is in Texas, but he's a Louisiana native. He only moved there 4 or 5 years ago. So Louisiana will always give you receivers. You just have to be able to eval it and get them in the boat.
The defensive backs in this class, when we talk about guys like Joel Rogers, Wallace Foster, this is
Juwan Johnson, Deshaun McBride. It's locally put together as well.
Yeah.
Beyond those Andre Evans and Kai Bates pickups.
McBride, the headliner there?
McBride is the headliner, I would say, of that group. At least right now. He's the highest ranked one. I think with McBride, he's got such a natural build. I mean, he's already 6'2", well over 200 pounds. And
Singleton too, man.
Singleton's I mean, they're big kids. McBride's got such good ball skills. He had 9 picks a year ago.
Oh, wow.
From talking to, and that was the Denham Springs single season record. From talking to the folks who do the rankings on the On3's side, Charles and Cody, they were like, if McBride goes out there and puts together like that next step, which is just really becoming that physical safety, they're like, he might be the best safety in the country.
Oh, wow.
And you've got Rogers in the boat, and Wardell Mack can play safety, who they're pushing hard for. So Louisiana, again, receiver, skill players in Louisiana, they're always there.
Is Rogers now at Zachary?
No, Trades Green.
Okay.
Rogers is still at East Feliciana.
Okay, so
Trades already.
Is
I think
Rogers at West Feliciana or East
West Feliciana?
Okay.
I get them mixed up.
He's at West, and then Trades Green leaves East Feliciana, and he's now at Zachary.
And now he's at Zachary. Yeah, and that's public now. I mean, I think Trades has tweeted a bunch of stuff about him working with the basketball team and football team already. So the Broncos got a good one.
Yeah, they did.
Somebody put a video out. I think it might have been Sam. Put a video out the other day of him at practice.
Okay, yeah.
Around,
so.
So.
It was. Wow. I didn't know if it was kind of
good in that uni. Oh my God.
They got him in like number 28 though right now.
Yeah, Rogers, West Feliciana.
Right.
And then Trades, who's a top 5 tight end in the country, is going to play at Zachary. And look, that gives Zachary's basketball team a boost too. I mean, he's got a Matt McMahon offer. He's got a number of basketball offers, but he wants to play football.
Player first.
Yeah, he was a basketball player first.
Xavier Atkins is a prospect that I think at times was flirting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but LSU seems to have
still maybe flirting. He's from Jonesboro, and then moved to Houston for his senior year. So I think just him being over in Texas, proximity puts him close to A&M, and he made a number of visits. And he was a border kid, so had visited Arkansas before and all that. But they get him back on campus this weekend. I think this is when you kind of try to start to lock in guys like that. Like, hey, look, are we in? Are we out? Or what are we doing here? And we'll probably find a little bit more about that. But I think Atkins, too, is having some fun. Like, your kids from Jonesboro, like, he's not –
right.
If you're getting invited to go to all these college
camps,
I'm going. I'm there.
Yeah, right.
So I'm going to have fun and enjoy the process. But at the end of the day, if I'm being straightforward with LSU and we're on the same page and it's all good, then no love lost. So I think after this weekend, we'll get a better feel for kind of where he stands. But good that he showed. It would be telling if he were like one of the only commits. Like, no, I'm good. I'm going somewhere else this weekend again. So good that he showed. Very good player.
What are you expecting this weekend? I mean, are you expecting commits? Are you expecting?
I wouldn't be surprised if Ori Williams committed. I guess it wouldn't surprise me if they popped a 2025 kid or something like that. But when you look at the current 2024 cycle and where they're at with top targets, I'm looking at the visitor list right now. You got 20 commits already. I mentioned Ori Williams. Jelani Watkins could be on commit watch, I guess. He's talked about maybe wanting to do it before, or at least sometime here soon. But you don't expect Caden Durham to do anything this weekend. If he does, kudos to LSU because he's already got a decision date. That means you've convinced him to do it even sooner. Same with Dominic McKinley. Same with Colin Simmons, Wardell Mack. But I will say Wardell Mack Durham, Watkins, Williams, obviously. All those guys have talked about wanting to do it before their senior year. So this really does set up to where it could be this weekend, next week, 2 weeks, I don't know. But we're a month out from all those kids being locked in on playing high school football on Friday night. So getting them to campus this weekend is massive.
I mean, we could say this every year, but this one specifically, this feels like a great class.
The 24 class they're building?
Yes.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were just, I think they saw the ranking and they weren't in the top 10 yet. I think they're 12 right now. But we're like, what's going on? And I think the easiest way for me to explain it is, one, the rankings aren't finalized. Like, a lot of these guys could be ranked well higher than they are now.
Like you mentioned McBride.
McBride already shot up 150 spots already. Could he move up even more?
Do you think he'll make 5-star?
I don't know. I think he'll be a top 50 player when it's all said and done. We'll see about 5-star. Wardell Mack's in 5-star range. McKinley's in 5-star range. I think Trey'Dez Green could move up into that top 100 consensus as a senior. But point being, no matter which school you're at, Jordy, if you have, let's say, 25 commits, a couple of them are 5-stars if you're lucky, handful of them are top 100 guys, double-digit guys are top 300 guys. You've got a group of 3-stars that are developmental guys or guys you're just higher on than the recruiting rankings are. And that's what a class usually looks like. It's built out on every single level. It's almost like LSU's class was sort of built like bottom, middle, upper tier first, to where like when you look at everyone that's still on the board, it's all 5-stars and top 100 prospects. So like from here on out, it feels like every commit, Kai Bates just a couple days ago, top 100 guy, every commit they get from here on out is going to be someone inside the top 100, if not very close. So now Ori Williams is ranked as a 3-star, but you get my point. It's so now it's like every guy you're still on is someone you've been on for a while because they're a big time difference maker, and usually those guys drag it out a little bit longer than others, but they're putting it together. This visitor list is impressive.
It is, man. It is. Are you stalking the fence tonight? Are you, dress up as a lifeguard? How are you getting in this?
He's going to be the jet ski guy.
No, I said that I'm the. Did I say that here or not? Well, if I was this person, I just wouldn't be able to remember. I'm the at the Southern game.
He's the guy from the
walking on the field.
Oh,
remember?
yeah, Bar One. Yeah.
Where the hell?
Yeah, right.
Is that Shea?
Right.
Is that Shea at the pool at the rec?
Are you supposed to be here?
I don't know.
So I thought
No, wow.
Great day for
what's going on?
Great to all these guys are incredible looking. You're such an athlete.
If y'all beg me forever to change my Twitter profile, I will. If you can get me in like campus security cuffs being carried away from Vice
with a football game going on behind you, with a bunch of kids in a pool.
Behind you.
Shea screaming, "Commit to LSU! Tell me what you're gonna do."
Yeah, right. Are you committing or not?
Just let me know and I'll leave.
Ori Williams, I said you were going to commit. Are you in or you out?
Y'all got Wi-Fi in the holding cell?
I got to get this report out.
On3.com at Shea Dixon on Twitter. You're going to want to follow him this weekend. There should be some news coming out on recruiting, and they are the best over at On3. Good to see you as always, man.
Thanks for having me in, guys.
We'll talk to Nathan Velasquez about movies in Hollywood and what's coming up here in a little bit on the Jordy Culotta Show. As always, built by R&B Builders.
Get his Mitch McConnell takes.
Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors,
Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacy,
Greg Brooks. Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team.
Make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Here you go.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college, for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Granning at Go-Mart and On the Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
Come back here, Jordy Culotta Show, built R&B builders. Remember, if you're down in New Orleans this weekend, check out Katie's Restaurant, located on Iberville Street, right in the heart of Mid-City. Been around since 1984. Scotty Craig and the crew over there got a great, great team, man. I tell you about it all the time. You go over there, service is the best, food's always great. Beer's always cold, and place is always packed. Been around since 1984. Katie'sInMidCity.com. Katie'sInMidCity.com. My favorite. I can't go to the city anymore without eating there. Check it out. Great location, great spot, great vibe, great service, great food. It's just great. Katie'sInMidCity.com. Katie'sInMidCity.com. Been looking forward to our next conversation. Our buddy Nathan Velasquez, who is the 5-minute critic that you can find on YouTube. He's got great opinion, gives great insight. I told you last week he was my lead recruiter to go and seeing Oppenheimer. I watched it by myself, the 3-hour flick, no cell phone. Stayed tuned in the entire time.
Popcorn?
What's that?
You go popcorn? You get snacks?
I went peanut M&Ms and a Dr. Pepper.
Oh, yes.
The movie's just like a tricky thing because the prices here are like.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to bring in your own candy,
I
but you
could
got to
go-
get theater popcorn.
I could go to the Circle K and get the same thing for
Oh no,
$4 less.
I've seen people bring in whole sandwiches in there, like
bottles of wine.
Yeah.
I mean, Coach, as a kid, when I was a kid, my mom would bring like a big purse to the movies, and we go to like Burger King before and like dollar.
Yeah,
menu,
you're
like,
getting you're eating your dinner here.
Right. Can you pass the Whopper?
I had the Whopper Jr. with the bacon.
Sorry, Nate.
The first time you see that, you're like, this man has a whole meal over here. Where'd you get French fries?
Burger King.
Burger King.
Sorry,
I upsized it.
Yeah.
got a king size.
All right. I don't know. Can I hear? I don't know if I can hear.
Can you hear me?
I can't.
You want these?
Yeah, probably so.
I'll fix those. Here, take these. Pass it down.
Jesus.
What happened in the break? Marwan.
Everybody just watch this.
The drugs are taking. The drugs are hitting.
Oh my God.
Nathan, good morning. God, for God's sakes. Jesus.
I went and saw a movie last night, and there was a group there with a pizza. They brought like an actual whole pie into the theater. And I was like, hey, more power to you.
Skills.
They offer a slice?
It wasn't one guy. Like, it was a group of people. No, that would be funny if one guy just was kind of like, yeah, I'm just here. I got the whole thing.
Pizza, anyone?
I'm doing the thing.
Excuse me.
Start selling them for
Trying to get to my
$2 a
seat
slice.
here.
Yeah, just walk up and down the aisle.
Nate, we got a lot to get to. Let's go the good, the bad, the ugly here. Barbie.
Starting with Barbie?
Yeah, because
Okay,
I want to get to the good stuff at the end because I want to talk all about it. Let's start with the bad stuff.
So, yeah, we don't need to stay with Barbie too long. Whenever I left, I went to see it with Leanna. Both of our taste was pretty much like, we really enjoy a movie that tells us straight to our face everything that it thinks about everything so that you never have to think about it again. And that's very much what Barbie does. It lays out for you every character. Instead of the story kind of taking you through maybe ideas, problems, something, which if you talk Oppenheimer does very, very well, with a lot of nuance, then that's, I feel like those are the good movies. The Barbie just kind of lays it all out there. Characters are kind of speaking exactly what they're feeling all of the time and just kind of like plain cadence, which there's just not, it felt the day after there was no real reason to think that anymore. And yeah, I don't know. I was disappointed by it. I thought there was going to be a little bit more. Honestly, there's a lot of humor in it that is kind of at like an Airplane level or like a Naked Gun level, which I thought they did pretty well whenever they went that route. I feel like if the movie had stuck in that direction, it would have been very funny. I thought Will Ferrell did a good job. He kind of does what Will Ferrell does, but a lot of that humor is kind of met at this very serious, but not even just serious, just very much like, here is what this movie is about, and we're going to say it like in plain verse right to you. It's a little a little ham-fisted, a little forgettable, which I was not expecting.
New Mission Impossible.
Very fun. The new Mission Impossible is very fun. Tom Cruise, as we've talked about a few times on the show, is very upset that this movie is not an IMAX. But still, go see it in the theater. It is well worth your time. Fallout, the last Mission Impossible movie, I do think is still the high watermark whenever it comes to just like every scene is topping itself with the action. It's kind of leading up to that halo jump that Tom Cruise makes. I don't know how many thousand feet up that airplane drop is where they film it all in one take. That's really, in terms of action, that is probably the high watermark that Mission Impossible set for itself. This movie takes a step back and is much more character focused. So if you haven't seen it yet, if you're going to go in and see the new Mission Impossible movie, just know that going into it, this is part one of 2 parts, and it feels like they know that they're not going to top the action. It feels like that wasn't the purpose of this one. So I feel like this one is still very solid. This one feels much more. This feels much more like a political thriller. A lot more kind of like 3 Days of the Condor, like those kind of older, like those 70s political thriller movies. This one has that type of a vibe, a little All the President's Men thing going on. Not so much a Christopher Nolan movie with the action. Nice. So I would still say go and see it, seek it out. It's even though it's a bit more toned down on the action, still worth seeing in theaters.
How about Talk to Me?
This one comes out today. This is an Australian horror movie made by, first time this company's ever made a horror movie. This team has ever made a horror movie. They started by making YouTube shorts, and now they just dived right on into feature filmmaking. It is very, very scary. It's an hour and a half. It's about a ceramic hand that whenever when you put your hand into its hand and you say, talk to me, you become possessed, essentially. And the rule is you cannot let it go for longer than 90 seconds. And one girl who recently lost her mother, when she kind of is possessed, she gets kind of a hint that she might have seen her mom. So she kind of wants to go and try it again. And she stays a little bit longer than 90 seconds. And I feel like those types of movies can get very silly. The ones where it's like, just follow the rule. Kind of like the Pan's Labyrinth thing, where it's like you can go into the underground world, but don't eat any of the food. And if you break the rule, then everything starts to unravel. Those movies can get a little corny. I thought this one did it very well, and it was one of those movies. Whenever I was walking out of the theater, I think it was actually the same guy that brought the pizza. He was with the person that he was with. He was like, I said, that's why at night I never look into mirrors.
What?
I thought that was just an interesting thing. This guy said, this movie, this is why at night I don't look into mirrors. And it's a scary movie. Go and see Talk to Me if you want to see a horror movie in July.
That guy sounds like he has some deep-seated issues. He's got something else going on.
All right, Nate, so my amateur eye, minor leaguer, just kind of watching film, I thought Oppenheimer is cinematic gold from the acting, from the... And look, it's a little long, and usually I don't have the patience to make it. I usually don't have the patience to make it through something like that and just sitting still, but it had me gripped, and I thought everything from the acting, the writing, the storytelling, like the cinematic features of it, all of that was on point. For me, it was nearly a perfect film.
I think it is quite an achievement. It's a strange thing that I think Christopher Nolan was able to pull this off. Christopher Nolan, going into it, I was optimistically curious as to what this was going to be, because he is not someone that does character studies. Inception, gigantic set piece throughout the entire movie. Dunkirk, amazing movie, but it's a huge set piece. That's kind of been a criticism of his, that it's like, Nolan does his kind of like big ideas well, but I mean, if he had to focus in on one character, he's probably not going to be able to do it. And Prestige is probably the only other time, but again, Prestige is a very, very complex kind of like magic trick of a movie. It's not really focusing in on what is making those characters tick. This one, literally, like the 3 hours of the movie, the IMAX camera is like within 3 inches of Cillian Murphy's face. And Cillian Murphy is acting like the hell out of this movie, doing an absolutely fantastic job. And I've seen it twice now. I felt like I had to see it again just because it's a lot of movie. It is a lot of movie. And even it makes a lot more sense exactly what scenes are intercutting between what stories are being told, because you're essentially got 3 timelines that you're looking at. You're looking at just the life from young man to building the bomb, that story of Oppenheimer. you have then the hearing that Oppenheimer is put through years later because the government essentially sees him as a security risk. It's like, stop talking about why you don't want us to be using these bombs however we want to use these bombs. And then you have the black and white sequence, which is Robert Downey Jr.'s character, or the predominantly black and white sequence, which is Robert Downey Jr.'s character even further into the future whenever he is looking to be appointed to a cabinet position in the new administration. And how it's actually seeing that how he's kind of been through Oppenheimer's story, maybe more than, not more than you're kind of led to believe, but how he is kind of the face of the government that is kind of like putting Oppenheimer through the latter part of his life. It's a lot of different timelines going on, and the way that it feels like a symphony, the way that everything is coming together. The acting throughout this movie is just you've got like 3 generations of acting. You've got maybe the older statesmen. You got like the Kenneth Branaghs. You got the Tom Conti as Albert Einstein, does a fantastic job. And then you've got more of like the traditional A-listers right now. Robert Downey Jr., I hope Cillian Murphy gets an Oscar nomination. I really want Robert Downey Jr. to win for this. Robert Downey Jr., the small like tics that he has throughout the movie. And he's kind of like, he's a very agitated, he's a very frustrated man, but he's trying to put on the political face throughout the entire movie. And the way that Robert Downey Jr. kind of has that, almost like he's doing 10% of the Iron Man thing, the charm, but he's letting some of the sliminess get by just a little bit in ways that really, really creep you out. And then you've got just a younger generation, like the next generation of actors like Jack Quaid, Josh Peck, Ansel Elgort, who kind of plays the staffer that's taking Robert Downey Jr. through the procedures. Rami Malek, Rami Malek's on screen for like 5 minutes, but comes in at the end with this speech that just kind of, give him an Oscar nomination too. The acting throughout this entire movie is really, really fantastic. And then, the big one is, the reason you're there to see it in theaters really is the bomb, is that Trinity test. And going into it, I feel like there was such a buildup. Like, so much of the marketing has been like, see this in the theaters, because whenever it's a spectacle, it's going to be a spectacle. The 20 minutes leading up to the Trinity test, and then the 10 minutes especially that follow, are beautiful, but also just heart-pounding and sometimes tragic. It almost gets into the point of a horror movie type of storytelling. It is all around very, very impressive movie, which it is a tall order to see it. And I think probably for the rest of 2023, this movie is going to be in the theater. It sounds like Universal's committing to keeping this in the theater. So seek it out when you feel like you have the time. Again, 3 hours is a long ask. If you really have to, if you have to take the time, and it's a big ask to take that time, then go a month from now. It's still going to be in theaters, but it's worth a watch in the theater, I would say.
Amen. I agree. The acting is just fantastic. Even Florence Pugh and Emily Blunt. They are fantastic. But bringing up Downey Jr. and Matt Damon too. Like the A-listers.
I forgot to mention Matt Damon.
The A-listers. The superstars are just, they're superstars. And Cillian Murphy, I'm with you. I think that he's probably nominated, but I believe either Downey Jr. or Damon actually wins the award.
Oh, I think so. And I can't believe I forgot to bring up Matt Damon. Matt Damon is, almost every character in the movie is a scientist or just a very serious politician. Matt Damon is not playing a comedic role,
right?
But Matt Damon's character being just a whole, like, he's a general. Like, this is not his world. The way that he is just a fish out of water. Again, he's not playing it for comedy, but he's just kind of got this look of like,
what are we doing?
I don't know what these guys are doing.
What are we talking about? Just make the bomb.
Flip something up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the way he's like, when are we doing this? He's like, I can get it for you in September. You have until July. Let's do August. You have until July.
Right.
Like just the way that he's delivering those lines, he's very. Or whenever he's like, there's a near zero chance that we ignite the entire atmosphere. He's like, near zero.
Right.
And he's like, oh, what do you want? What do you want from theory alone? And he's like, all right, well, don't blow up the universe. He delivers those moments in a few points where it's just kind of like, this is not my world, but I'm the guy that's in charge of it.
When they're recruiting the scientist, and he's, why? And he's like, because this is the most important thing in the goddamn history of the world.
He's had enough of the scientist just being like, give me every single detail.
Right.
Can we just get moving?
Right, it's so good. Nathan, so what's this weekend? What's coming up on the 5 Minute Critic?
I think it'll be really, I've been working on the deep dive into Oppenheimer. That's really going to be the big one. And it's going to be Talk to Me, the new horror movie that just came out.
Great stuff. Great to catch up with you. Have a great weekend, and hopefully see you soon, buddy.
Sounds good. Y'all have a good weekend.
There he is, Nathan Velasquez, the 5-Minute Critic. Hit him on YouTube. Find him on social media. Get caught up with with Hollywood and what's going on with the movies. But if you are looking for something to go watch, I strongly can recommend Oppenheimer.
Now I gotta go see it.
I'm telling you.
I think I'm going Tuesday.
I'm telling you.
Somebody on Twitter asks, like, why doesn't Oppenheimer have like post like movie credits? And somebody quoted it was like, "You're literally living in it."
Yeah.
This is the post movie credits.
Look around.
What happened after? You live it. You hear.
I mean, hey,
there's a reason you don't know Mandarin.
That's exactly right.
Right.
That's exactly right.
But I think people were surprised that I haven't seen it yet, obviously, but they're surprised that it's more of like an introspective into his life as opposed to like the atomic bomb and where they drop it. It's not like an action movie in that regard. It's more of leading up to how it was created about Oppenheimer.
They wanted to see the bomb drop.
Yeah, people wanted to see it dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They wanted to see fat man and little boy.
There probably is a movie on the way.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It'll be out there.
Played in 3D.
But this part of the story is great.
Oh, yeah, you have to know.
I mean,
so you think
got
it's
another
Oppenheimer
guy.
2?
Well, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, now
Give me the action
now
part
we
with Tom
destruct.
Cruise. Yeah.
Yes, right.
Tied in with Mission Impossible 2.
Good stuff from Shea Dixon today. Appreciate Nathan Velasquez for stopping by here on this Friday. Big recruiting night. Make sure you're keeping up with Shea and the crew over at On3 as LSU will be hosting a ton of recruits, a lot of who's who, a lot of the faces here of this class will be in town. So make sure and keep up with all of the news with the crew at On3 and Shea Dixon and his and Billy and everybody. All right, for everybody over here, have a great weekend. Hit that like button, share button, comment button if you don't mind. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the show. We'll be back with you Monday morning, 7 a.m.
Row the boat.
Subscribe or your kids hate you.
Yep.